All right, everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm here with a member inside of our Discord, Joshua, which I have to say, first and foremost, I think you're the very first, I think you're really like not only the prop firm final boss, but also like the top paid out trader within a short time span inside of the Discord too, because Joshua is a verified $600 and almost $90,000 in payouts, which is truly incredible. Because there's many different levels in the trading space, right? But you've hit a multi six-figure level, which is like 0.01% of profitable traders to even begin with. So really, I want you to just take us back through your entire journey, kind of what led up to this point.
Okay, so I'm 29. In high school, around I want to say like freshman year, I got introduced into like cryptocurrency, and I don't know if you remember the BitConnect days. It got me introduced into like the world of like the market and investing. So I was never like, I guess like financial like illiterate at all, and I knew about like like saving and investing and all that, but I didn't know like how much you could like scale with it, and it didn't have to be just such, not necessarily like long-term or short-term like investments. I got into cryptocurrency and I saw that you make a little bit of money. I got into like the crypto arbitrage trading and all that. And I figured about like all the like the meme coins like back then before they recently like blew up again. From there, I saw I wasn't really making like much progress. So I got into like stocks, and I was like, okay, cool. You can like buy stocks, sell stocks. Did it for a little bit, wasn't making pretty much any money with it. And I saw like how slow it was. Like, I was like, where's the gain?
Were you just buying?
Yeah, I was buying shares. I think the first share I bought was PIN, but that like I said, like that introduced me to also like stock options. So then I got into stock options. That's where I found like my first like little success. I remember I put like $250 in an account, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna figure it out. I went to YouTube, learned a little bit about like how to like read charts and stuff like that. I remember the first month I turned $250 into like 3K. I'm like, oh wow, this is doable. So I started from there, found a little bit of profitability, not much, then found out about Forex in 2019 through a car friend. His cousin was in IML. And the whole the IML pyramid scheme. But like I said, that got me introduced to Forex. I'm like, there's such a bigger market out there. So did that for a little bit. I was in it for like 3 months, and then I caught on quick. I noticed that people were just getting recruited, but there were some people that knew how to trade, but most of them didn't know how to trade. So if you were in it, you were just getting recruited, and people were making like money off the subscriptions. They tell you, oh, you need to download this tool, that, and the third. It's just BS. So from there, that's where I started my journey to YouTube. And I was like, okay, I started doing like how to trade like Forex, like how to read the charts. And the first thing I came across was Raja Banks, Q, and later on I came across you as well. And I remember at that time, like the whole Wall Street like Academy and everything. And I remember I seen you like literally from the whole like FTMO like payouts and everything. And I remember I was even taking like prop firms at the time. I was like, dude, I have to get to this level one day. So literally, let me not like lose track. So basically, like I said, I got into like Forex, found a little bit of profitability in it, and then the whole craze recently, what was it, maybe like a year or two ago, how like with MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5 and all that, I thought about futures. So, and I was like, okay, the only difference is just learning the new terminologies and everything. Everything still stays the same. The way it was in crypto, reading the charts, all that. So, like I said, I got into Top Step first and felt some evals, was getting used to all the different type of rules compared to the Forex space. Like the Forex like challenges, completely different from like future challenges. Yeah. And even like the leveraging and everything like that. So started with Top Step, had a 50K, blew that a couple times, ended up getting funded. Then finally got my first payout. From there, I bought 5 150Ks, and I would just copy trade them. Eventually passed those, and I was like, okay, cool, got my second payout. I was like, okay, well, what can I do to increase my capital? Because the whole thing is to increase your capital so you also reduce like your risk. So the gains that you can make way more gains with way less risk if you have more capital. So from there, I went from Top Step. I found out about Apex, So then I went to Apex. I was like, oh shit, you can get 20 accounts. That's insane.
Because when you send the screenshots in the chat, I mean, it's just like a log of just what looks to be almost like 100 different accounts, which I can only imagine how you're managing all those different accounts.
It's very tough because I constantly have to keep track of like drawdowns, like what I'm risking on accounts, like whether I take the wrong trade or not, and sometimes like accidental clicks. I think that happens to everybody. But it's like I said, it's a double-edged sword because at the end of the day, as fast as like I've gained them is as fast as I can lose them. And the main takeaway that I do is to keep myself like just afloat and keep going. Like I said, I have different amounts of risk on different firms.
So, I mean, to get to a point where you've got almost 700K practically in payouts is something that's obviously super difficult to do. Most people, that's what they want to achieve. Did you have a certain game plan as to how you were going to just start making money off of prop firms? Or you're like, you know what, let me just get a payout here and there and I'm going to be good?
Nah, like I said, it just started with one payout, and it's weird because I didn't know, like I did research about like these prop firms, and I remember I got invited from a friend into Discord, and that's how I found out, like I said, about Top Step. And when I got to that, he was also helping research like different firms and stuff like that. So it made like the researching a lot easier. So like I said, as I got the first payout, I guess the game plan was just, I want to get more capital to just protect myself so I don't have to use my own capital. I still do now because I think one should have like a live personal account so you don't have all the rules and the BS, because the firms, they're there to make you fail, like to lose. But if you can like learn the skill set and like beat the game, and you can literally like cheat the system and just stack from there. And that's basically kind of what I did.
Yeah, because trading prop firm accounts is obviously not like trading your own personal capital. I mean, especially when you're just getting funded, you're not even actually trading real money. You're still in like the simulated environment. So, I mean, therefore it's easier to make money. But then you also actually moved into the Top Step Live account.
Yeah.
How was that?
So that was like unique. It was very different. I like the freedom of being able to withdraw like any day. Like I remember one day I made like 16K in one trade. We withdrew that thing instant. And yeah, of course. One thing I learned, and I learned it from Raja, like you should always pay yourself forward. And like it's crazy. Like when you start trading, it's like I was talking to my friends about it. It's like when you start trading, there's like certain things, like whether it's accomplishments or goals, you start realizing like, man, I could like make that with like 10 ticks or one contract or this, that, and the third. So yeah, I decided to withdraw the 16K just instantly to like pay myself forward. And then the thing is, because there's no point to me like leaving profits in an account, because that's potential risk that you can lose. So I believe it's best to just remove that money off the table, and then at that time you're just playing with just like house money. And that's kind of what I do with the firms. The thing is, you're paying like, let's say for a 50K, like $50 to take a challenge. And then let's say you do get funded. That's another $149 for activation. You're spending $200. But that's a potential to get, let's say the max cap payout on Top Step is 5K. You get one 5K payout. You use a $250 investment to make 5K. I see that as a dub.
100%.
So at that point, it's like, okay, that's what made it click. It's like, dude, you don't need a lot of money to make a lot of money. You could use a little bit of capital if you're just, and the thing, I'm not the smartest guy. I'm really not. But it's like the math is mathing. Like literally.
Yeah. I mean, it was the same thing with my 100K FTMO payout too. I mean, I think the accounts costed me maybe $2,500 because on the CFD side of things, the challenges are more expensive. And at that time, I mean, the profit split was like max 70%. And the thing about it too is like you get that refunded. So I had turned $2,500 essentially, I think, into a total of like 200K in payouts in 3 months. I mean, you're not gonna get that return anywhere else, especially not trading your own live capital. So what was your biggest mental shift that took you from a struggling trader to a profitable trader?
Okay, so like we as humans, we always want things like really quickly. And I believe if you're extremely disciplined and patient, you can receive whatever it is like you want. But that's the thing, lots of humans lack discipline. They lack patience. And I think those tools I think are very important. I think that's what kept me like in the game longer, is working on my mental and psychology. Like my best friend Bray, like he's been watching me trade like for the whole, like my whole journey. He's sat next to me and like watched me trade. He's seen me like go through the ringer. But I built my mental like over the years, I think, because I had traded so many different like sections of the market, is once I got into futures, I was like, dude, I've seen this before. All it is just the different terms and, you know, the different platforms, and just using what I've learned throughout the years to use this to my advantage to just increase my capital gains.
Yeah, really, that's all it comes down to. And you know what the thing about it is that's crazy is any trader realistically could randomly press buy and sell, and they're probably going to get like a 50% win rate, especially trading at a 1R. So if you could just slightly increase your edge by taking trades that are based off of logic and push yourself up to maybe like a 55% win rate, you're going to be profitable over a long period of time. But the problem that I've seen being a mentor, really it just comes down to two things. People aren't disciplined and people aren't patient. And once you actually realize, because for me in my journey specifically, like there was a whole period of time where I'm like, at some point there's gonna be like a click, right? But as the years continue to progress, what I've realized is psychology and trading is literally everything. Because you can have a huge green trade, but then on your next day, you decide to size up, you take a loss, and then you start over trading, you revenge trade, and you give back all of those gains. So you really made a point that really resonated with me there as well, because in my opinion, really what makes a profitable trader is discipline and patience. What's the difference between, let's say, trading one prop firm to trading over 5 different prop firms?
So like the main difference is just like I said, it's the rules, the different type of like payout methods and such. Some firms make it so hard just to get a payout. Like for instance, like Apex, they have a 30% consistency rule, but also within that, they also have called a 30% MAE rule, which basically like any trade that you're specifically in, even though they also have trailing drawdown on top of that. So you get like so you have 3 whammies already. So it's like you got all those 3 and you have to try to make profit and get above the profit, hit the profit target, pass. And then on top of that, once you pass that, then even on the funded stage, that's the easy part's like the easy part is over with. That's not even the hard part. The hard part is just getting above that buffer to the profit target, and then even just getting the payout and even just maintaining those accounts.
Yeah, because Apex has a lot of different rules, and they put those rules in place obviously because their challenge is so cheap. What it would cover to cost a payout of $10,000 if the average ticket is $80. I mean, you're talking about thousands of accounts they'd have to sell to be able to cover that one single $10,000 payout alone, which is why they make the payout process much more strict. So I know you touched up a little bit on different risk parameters depending on what prop firm you trade. What's like your approach when you're approaching a prop firm? Let's say Top Step, and you know, I know you mentioned the buffer a little bit too. What's your overall approach with that?
Like I said, just hitting A+ setups on like my first 2 like trade days and maintaining that consistency, because the main thing is having that consistency out the gates. Also because like I said, trading is very like up and down, especially when it deals with your psych, like over trading, over risking, many factors, news. So it's very important that you build up a buffer in the beginning to help you like longer down the line when you have those bad red days, or when you look at the market and it's like, even though you've been trading for like years and you've seen it time and time again, there's times when I look at the market and I'm like, dude, I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. And I have to just walk away from the charts. Like it makes no sense. One thing I learned from Raja is 1 or 2 trades a day. That's it. And I've used that when I'm ever trading London and New York session. I only use 1 to 2 trades a day. My first trade, I use about the half, like basically like, let's say my drawdown, like my risk tolerance is like 5K. I'll use like half of that for my first trade, whether it's like win or lose. If I lose, then I use the other half of that I'm willing to risk for the rest of the day. Whatever happens, happens. If I lose or win, it is what it is. Because my thing is, you should always set yourself to trade for the next day. There's always gonna be, it goes back to like being patient, being disciplined, and we were wanting like things very quickly. If you just compound and take it day by day, and then you just look back, dang, 10 days goes by, like 10 trading days goes by, and out of that consistent compound, you realize how much of a buffer that you built by just being patient and disciplined. Because a lot of times you'll get in trades too early or too late, and it maybe could just be, like I said, just discipline and just being patient, just waiting for those moves to happen. Because sometimes we're not patient, we get to move early, get stopped out, let's say an hour or two later or however long later, you see the move, was like, dang, if I would have just waited a little bit longer.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. There's been a lot of times where I've been caught in those types of trades. So then how do you handle the pressure of a losing streak?
And okay, so I would say one of the biggest losing streaks I had was in February, like halfway through February. I would say like for about like, yeah, in halfway through February into March for like 3 weeks, I was just taking L's, like just losing. I was losing like, I remember one week I was losing like 7K, 7K, 7K. It just kept going. And it was like, I was just seeing like my stats just was just like a slope, just a slow hill. And what I realized is even though there are bad days, it doesn't mean like I'm not a bad trader. Like it could just be the most simplest thing. And sometimes it's the most, literally it is the most simple. It could have been, I go back and look at my trade and it's like, oh, well, maybe my like mood that day before I got on the charts was different. I always tell people like when you hop on the charts, your mood is everything. Like your mental is everything. Yeah. Like it's like you can be mad about something and hop on the charts and do something like really stupid and like use, let's say like, I don't know, let's say like a friend, I don't know, like made you like upset or something, and then you wake up in the morning and just start trading, and then you use all of that in the back of your head while you're trading. You're sitting there like blowing accounts or using too much risk, and then you start revenge trading, over risking and all that. And
you start making emotional mistakes. Yeah, I feel like we've all been there, but at the same time, I feel like it takes somebody of experience to actually realize that your psychology in trading really is everything, and coming into the day with a positive energy and really like a clear mindset is a lot. So do you practice meditation or anything at all pre-market?
I'll just relax. I'll sit like on the balcony just like for the first 10 minutes and just like chill, just clear my head before I enter the charts. I think doing that helps clear my head. I think that the crazy thing is with trading, to make more money, it's kind of like you don't have to care.
Yeah, 100%.
And you actually have to trade less. And I guess like what I mean by that is like a lot of people, like when they get into like trading, they want to just stay on the charts. They literally just want to look at charts. When the market opens, they're there all day just looking at the charts. Anytime they pull out your phone, look at that chart. It's not good. The crazy thing is when you trade less and you're less on the charts and you go do other things, whether it's like working out or doing your hobbies, like I enjoy like riding motorcycles, going to car meets, you know, drag events, like the whole nine. I think taking time away from the charts also helps with my mental. So whenever I do come to charts, I can focus on just that. Exactly. And when I'm done the charts, I don't have to think about it. I go through my day with whatever I got to do, whatever I got to handle and take care of. And then come back the next day, it's 0-0. Every day I come to market, no matter what happens, the last day, it's 0-0. Because one thing about the market, it's always going to be there. I tell people that all the time. It's always going to be there. Like we're always so eager to like make money, but the thing is like you don't even have to trade every single day to make money either.
No, you don't.
You can trade like 1 or 2 days.
Yeah, and there's even been days, I'm sure you've experienced this recently as well, there's even been days where you just have such a big day that you're like, bro, I'm gonna take the next 2 days off. Like, I'm chilling. I'm gonna pay out, I'm gonna go drink some margaritas or something, bro.
Have some cigars.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, really, I feel like when it comes to trading and really getting to the point where you are making money from the markets, you have to be very self-aware of who you are as an individual and how you can react to certain things, and then how you can always grow. I don't want to say as a trader, but overall, how you can always grow from a mindset standpoint and understanding yourself in the markets. Because for me specifically, I know that there's times where if I have like a really big green day, say I have a 6-figure day inside of the markets, not only one am I requesting myself, I wouldn't even say requesting, I'm requiring myself to withdraw. And you know what I find nowadays too, I'm actually withdrawing at the end of almost every single week. I'm taking 50% out of 50% of my profits out, because it really helps with my mental personally. And not only am I building my liquid net worth, but what you also said before is true. You want to pay yourself, because what's at risk is your trading account at all times, as long as it's there. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my standpoint on it. What would you say your, whether it be past or in the present, your biggest psychological challenge has been or is?
I guess really what it is, like believing that like I can do it. In trading, like there's been so many times like I've like, you know how like when you first get into trading, you're like super excited, you start telling everybody like, dude, this thing is like a whole new world, and it's like also it's addicting, but it's like it's fun. I'm excited to wake up and trade. Like every single week I look forward to trading. But one of the hurdles was, I guess, like proving to myself, and in the back of my head, I guess also like proving to others, because like my parents, like they supported me, but it was also in the sense of like they support you, but like it's like a pipe dream. It's not something that is like possible, or it's something for like, oh, these specific type of people. But I feel like anything can be for like anybody, if you actually just put your time, like I said, discipline and your patience with it. Like 3 things that I always like run by, and they're in this specific order: is God, discipline, and patience. Within trading, we have all these like outside like sources, like a ton of different outside sources that feed into your like strategy, like your risk, and that like affect your whole portfolio. And I think that's what also makes it so tough in the space, is because so many things can affect you. And to be the type of person to be disciplined and patient, that's why only very few people make it in trading. And also that's why it's extremely hard. Even when I'm like having bad days or really good days, there's always that self-doubt. I think even though you have trained yourself to like kind of, I guess, kill emotions, the emotions are always still there. Even to this day, I still over risk, I still over trade, I still have blown accounts. Like it happens. But the only difference between someone who's been doing it and someone who just got started is the experience and the trial and error and seeing things happen like time and time again. And then, like I said, the self-awareness and discipline, just catching yourself and, okay, cool, damn, I need to fix that.
I feel like that's actually one thing that I talked about in the last YouTube video I posted. Like, it doesn't matter how long you've been trading, you could still make mistakes. So at the end of the day, you're human. It's about identifying the mistakes, pinpointing exactly what went wrong, if anything went wrong, because realistically in this market, you know, like I said, price is going to go up or down. You know, if you make a mistake and you make money, you still have to identify the mistake, although you made money, and vice versa with the loss. Is when you take that loss, it gets you even more upset because you know what the mistake is, and the point is to avoid to continue to make those same mistakes in the future, so that way your P&L overall, month to month, quarter to quarter, year to year, is going to be green. How do you stay disciplined when you could easily risk more for bigger gains?
Knowing what the future holds by being disciplined and patient, and either just taking those base hits every day. And yeah, there are gonna be those days where it just fucking, just rips, or it just fucking melts, or you're just hitting. And those are some of the best days. But the ways to have those days and maintain that capital is to be disciplined, even through the worst of days.
Yeah, because I mean, especially like with these last few weeks, the market conditions have not been easy at all. And this is typically the time where a lot of people are just losing money, especially in like this summer periods. It gets a little bit funky, the price action, a little bit choppy, and then Trump is talking about something new every day that causes random spikes in volatility. Yeah. I remember I was in a trade on Tesla last week on some options calls, and my calls were right there in the money. I was making a profit. Trump dropped a 90% tariff on battery supplies coming from China, which Tesla uses like 40% of their battery supplies from China, and that caused Tesla to dump. And I would probably say maybe 20% of away from my stop loss, and the market ended up recovering overnight, and I ended up making like 130% on that trade on those options contracts. But again, it's like that random volatility that comes in, and you need to have that experience to be able to deal with that and see how you want to manage that trade. When it comes to your size, do you have, because you trade props, it's a little bit different than your personal, do you have like a set size that you use, and do you increase that? Like, what's kind of like your game plan when it comes to using that type of size?
So it also goes to, like the way I base my contract sizing is based on the risk of the firm, or even trade by trade, because not every single trade I have the same amount of risk. Like I said, if it's A plus setup or a B plus setup, then I'm gonna have more risk on my A plus setup versus my B plus if I'm not too sure about it.
So what would you tell someone who keeps failing prop firm challenges, and what can they do to be able to take multiple payouts from prop firms?
It goes back to like being disciplined and very patient. Understand like you can do and can get like whatever it is you're trying to get out of the markets, but in order to do that, you have to be disciplined. You have to be patient. Like I've been teaching like my friends and my cousin like trading and stuff, and a lot of them have like excelled like in such a short amount of time due to like all their character. Like it goes back to that question, your characteristics and your personality is how kind of like how you trade. Like for me, I'm more of an aggressive trader, and then as I'm teaching like my friends and like family, I've learned how their personalities relate into like their trading. Like my cousin, he was able to get funded on Top Step, and he had only been trading since like January and got 2 payouts of like 10K. And now he kind of hit like this roadblock, and it's kind of like he skipped, I guess, the stages of like the struggle, and it's like he got the first couple payouts, but he had like a plan and a strategy, and now it's just a matter of building the experience and like the mental and just like the patience.
Going through the ropes, basically. So someone who keeps blowing their challenges, what specifically with discipline would you tell them that they need to work on?
I would say just have a plan. I think that's the most important thing, is like literally having a plan. Every day when you get on the charts and you take a trade, before you even click a button, you should literally have certain confluences before you take a trade. Understand whether that trade is win or lose, you should just do the same thing every day. Because the thing about the market is if you're able to be disciplined and actually just stick to the same thing every day, eventually the market will reward you.
Especially if your system has a positive expectancy over a long period of time, because there's just going to be certain times where the market conditions really just aren't that great. If you're a trend trader and the market's consolidating throughout that month, you're going to struggle for sure. So, I mean, what you said is literally 100% on point. So, last question here is, how has making this kind of money changed your relationship with trading?
I guess making this kind of money has changed my relationship in trading, because I view money way differently, way different. Knowing how easy it is, I mean, I make it say it's easy, but it's really not. It's easy to lose money and it's easy to make money. It's just a double-edged sword. It's like just beating the system, like beating the game. Like trading is literally like a video game. You literally have to like build up your tolerances of this. Like you have to, it's killing your old self. Like in trading, you have to kill your old self. Like in order to be a profitable trader, you literally have to kill all your habits. You have to kill certain human emotions. You have to do things that normal people wouldn't do. Like even when you talk to people about like trading, oh dang, I lost this amount of money, they look at you like you're fucking crazy. Yeah. Like you're crazy. And I think the thing about trading is like you have to be delusional. You have to be crazy to make it in it.
Well, bro, Joshua, thank you so much for taking the time out of your night to hop on this interview. I really appreciate it. And for those of you guys that want to follow Joshua's journey as well, his information will be down in the description. We'll see you guys in the next one.